Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Staying Mission Driven, the July 2024 version. Happy to see so many people on the call this morning. And we were talking just a little bit ago. It's finally cooling off. It's finally cooling off over here and on the east side. I'm not sure about Spokane yet. Usually it starts here and then slowly moves that direction. So anybody from Spokane on the call who can speak to that? Is it still hot over there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So maybe tomorrow you'll get a little bit cooler weather. All right, I will go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Well, like I said, welcome. Glad to see everybody here. If you could please make sure that you are muted. For some reason, many of you are coming in without being on mute this morning, so I'll check my Zoom settings before next meeting. So quick announcement, and this is about GivePulse. About GivePulse and getting your hours logged. So Sandra Mangan is the Pierce County Master Gardener volunteer who's usually on this call and usually makes sure that all of you get checked in and that your hours get automatically logged in GivePulse. So she had a family emergency that she had to handle and is not here. So your instructions for making sure that your hours get logged are the following. If you are pre-registered for this meeting, you will receive an email from GivePulse. And all you need to do then is in it, the GivePulse email will say, did you attend Staying Mission Driven? Click the yes button, and then your hours will be logged. If for some reason that this meeting goes more than an hour, it will also give you the opportunity, or less than an hour, but I don't think it's going to. It will give you the opportunity to adjust the time. If you're not registered for this meeting and you got the link from the Zoom link from your program coordinator, go to the GivePulse page, the front of the GivePulse page in your group, and find the calendar. Look on today's date, and there should be a link there for Staying Mission Driven. You can register for that right there from that calendar and enter your impact for today's meeting as for the hour. Does that make sense? Okay. If you have a question, please shoot me an email and I can help make sure that your hours get logged correctly. All right. So how are things going out there with everybody? Last time we talked a little bit about plant sales. I'm excited. I kind of learned accidentally our government affairs, WSU government affairs folks, they work with our state legislators quite often, and the state legislators do tours of WSU and other state agencies, institutions. But I learned just late last week that the state legislators are going to be touring the west side from Skagit all the way down to Pierce. They might be going further than that. I'm just not aware of that. And our Master Gardener program is going to be highlighted on that tour, including our demonstration gardens. And so a few folks have been invited to speak. to highlight our program and showcase the differences that we make and the positive impact that we have in our program. So thanks to it's an invite-only event. Only a few people are attending. I'm not one of them, which is totally fine. I'm thrilled that there are other people out there that are going to be able to showcase and show off who we are, what we do, and why we do it. So I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes, and can't wait to share that story with you in August. So I'm going to switch the agenda up a little bit because Debbie Bembo is here and wants to give an AEC update, but she's on vacation and she wants to get out on her, move forward with her day and into the fun that she has in front of her. So Debbie, right, I'll just turn it over to you right now.
Okay, thank you. So just a quick update. We, as of Monday, had 421 paid registrations. So it's going really well. If you haven't registered yet, Master Gardeners do get a $10 discount on their tickets. So if you missed early bird, you still have a chance to get a little bit of a discount. And after I finish talking, I'll put a link in the chat on the For Master Gardeners resources page. There, if you go to that page and then scroll down, you'll see AEC resources, and there you'll find Zoom backgrounds, flyers, and postcard size prints that you can print and distribute in your county. And the postcards are like 4 to a page, so you could do them on your laser printer and cut them apart. Let's see, a speaker change. We have Bonnie Orr that is going to be doing a talk on composting. She's very good. She's a master composter, and I think you'll enjoy her talk. Jim Little's presentation was a little bit shorter than what we needed, so his will be added as a bonus presentation on the recordings post-conference. So he'll still be speaking, but it just won't be part of the regular schedule. Most of our recordings are done and being edited, and we have a great lineup. So if you haven't looked at the schedule, please go to the website and check it out. Let's see. The Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State annual meeting is going to be held at 9 o'clock prior to the conference starting on the 27th. And it is going to be free to anybody to attend. So there will be a separate link for that that's going to go out. And then those who are registered for the conference will get a link to the conference. So those are going to be 2 separate, Zoom links. And that's also going to include the awards ceremony. So that's kind of in a nutshell, unless anybody has questions.
Thanks, Debbie. Who's Bonnie replacing?
Jim Little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will put those links in the chat.
Okay. So what does your fun day look like ahead of you, Debbie? What are you doing?
I'm not sure yet. It takes everybody a little while to get around here.
Yeah. Okay.
Jesse and Elida went kayaking this morning, but they couldn't get Ava out of bed in time to go. So
Well,
you know,
teenage girl. Yep, that's about right.
but we've had real low tide every day, so we've walked out on the bay, and
Oh, fun.
we're at Birch Bay.
On a tree not 5 minutes ago.
All right. Well, enjoy your day and say hello to everybody for me.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. So now I have some announcements for you. Debbie mentioned awards. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to nominate fellow Master Gardener volunteers for the awards. These are the original due date was July 1. It has been extended to August 1st. That's a very short turnaround right now. Hopefully you're working on nominations, but these are the WSU Extension Master Gardener Awards sponsored by the Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State. So you can find all of the nomination forms on our website. And then also wanted to share, you may or may not have heard conversation about MS 365 and SharePoint. It's a tool that we've been working on for a number of months, actually more than a year, as a part of our infrastructure team. To have a shared site where counties can work across counties, where you can share and collaborate on different resources and files that you have, a way of communicating back and forth between counties, and then to the state, and to this from the state to the counties. And also organizing your different projects. So whether it's demonstration gardens or plant clinics or basic training. So this is a tool that we've been working on creating, and I shared more detail with program coordinators last week in an in-person meeting, an in-person retreat that we had. And kind of talked about what this does, why we're adopting it, and what are the benefits that it provides. And today I just want to show you an example of what's been done in Chelan County. So Chelan Douglas rolled out MS 365 earlier this year with a focus on plant clinic group. Which is where we're wanting other counties to start with the adoption of this tool if they so choose. But in the future, MS 365 can be used, like I said, for other projects too, like basic training, demonstration gardens, plant sales, etc. But here's a short video that was put together by Craig Lawrence and Chelan Douglas, showing what he's done in Chelan County for their clinic. So let's see.
This presentation demonstrates
Can
the
you hear
use
Craig?
of Microsoft Office 365 SharePoint sites by the Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners plant clinics. Logging in with the appropriate URL for our plant clinics and the appropriate username and password provided by SharePoint administrator. Chelan Douglas clinicians are initially taken to the Chelan Douglas MG portal, which we envision as a launch pad to other sites in the future for promotions, educational outreach, the Master Gardener Foundation, and more. Selecting Ask the Master Gardener Plant Clinic site takes us to this specific site for the Ask Master Gardeners. Only specified clinicians have access to this site.
What happened?
Initially, we'll see the shared link to the shared email box and shared files in OneDrive. Scrolling down the screen a bit, we see we have links to diagnosis tracking and some community outreach information, as well as program priorities. Each county may customize a section as they desire, or add or subtract as they wish. We have Master Gardener resources. We're showing a half a dozen useful resources for the clinicians. Additional resources may be added as desired. We have direct links to the clinic OneDrive files and folders. These files and folders are the same as can be found when selecting the clinic shared OneDrive account. These are direct links to these specific locations. We have a test clinic intake form. Microsoft Office 365 provides the ability to create forms for the collection of data for a future evaluation and export through Excel to help you track problems and diagnosis or anything that you desire. This particular form is one that's created from a paper form and allows the technician to collect this information digitally. Once completed, it gets added to the list of previous forms completed, and information may be analyzed using Excel. Looking at our shared email box, each clinician will see the same inbox, sent items, and the folders that they have created for different purposes. When sending a new email, there's an automatic signature block that's added, and you'll see that same signature block when they reply to an inquiry. Looking at the shared OneDrive files, these in typical file structure, folders and files. These were taken from Google Drive, where copies have been saved for archival purposes. That is a quick look at the Chelan Douglas Ask a Master Gardener SharePoint site. Thank you.
What'd you think? Any comments, questions? I know there's probably tons of questions. Your coordinators know more. You can reach out to them, but what did you think of that site?
Great new site. Fabulous. Well done.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great tool for us across the state, and it will adoption of this will lead to our ability to create like a county-based plant clinic database that will the data will filter to me at the state level, so I have the data points that I need, and so it should decrease work for you and for the coordinators.
Will the county's information at any point be combined with everyone so we could create a statewide database, or would that be, maybe that wouldn't even be logical since we're so different east and west, but
Yeah, I mean, the team that's working on this has talked about that a lot, and it's going to be more. It's called multi-tenancy, and these are I'm speaking outside of my or over my skis here. I know that the word is multi-tenancy. It allows for the counties to talk to each other through the virtual space, but the database will be county specific. But it will talk to each other.
It looks like a great tool.
Thanks, Kitty. Linda, I saw you had your hand up. Is it still up?
Oh, I was just going to say that I've already reached out to Craig because I was so excited when I saw it last week that
Yeah, he's like, oh, be careful what you ask for. Deborah, go ahead.
Jennifer, I have a question. I'm from Okanagan County. So do we have to have members, or a member like help with this to get started in our county, or what's the rollout on this?
Yeah, so Angelin knows the rollout. There are some steps. And so connect with Angelin on it. She should be able to help you out there, but there are steps and we do need volunteer support for this.
Well, I'm just asking because we have a couple of really techie people, and so I didn't know if that's
We're gonna need them.
what's needed.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna need them. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Deborah. I think Deborah can speak to this. too.
Yeah, here in Skagit County, we've been using MS 365 since 2015, and we have, probably 20 or so team sites for file sharing, a lot of teamwork. It's a very effective tool. Microsoft has made it much easier to use over the last 9 years. I can speak from experience. And yes, you do need some techie people to be your administrators and help get stuff set up. But it's really a wonderful tool for counties. And we haven't done anything like this for our clinics, but now that we see the model, I think we'll try and find a way to get it implemented here in Skagit as well.
Good.
And Jennifer, this is still under the model that you had discussed before, where each county, I'm assuming based from foundations, would need to have their own MS 365 subscription and then just plug into the state infrastructure.
Yes, to an extent. So
Okay.
the individual counties will work with their foundations to receive the Microsoft grant that provides the instance of MS 365 for free. Plugging into the state, that's that multi-tenancy piece. So it's separate, but they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Again, out over my skis on this.
Yeah, pretty heady stuff. Definitely need techie people for that. I was like, but this looks great. I think this would it's a great way of visually looking at the information and keeping track of everything. I just hope that we have people that get excited and actually implement it and use it. I know that there can be some hesitation and some reluctance when it comes to new technology.
Yes.
And then just getting around, right? Sometimes can be confusing and frustrating, but if you work through those bugs, the benefits are pretty great there.
I do have a full 1-hour presentation on this that talks about the rollout and the roles and responsibilities and the benefits. I don't want to go through that right now. Your coordinators will have access to that. And then I'm going to share that with the state foundation as well, so that they can share that out as needed. But it's exciting, and I think the beauty of it is that it helps brand us statewide. So when I'm, if I'm a resident of say Kirkland, Washington, and I go down to Walla Walla to wine taste or something, and I see a plant, I can email Ask a Master Gardener at wallawallang.org, and that will be the same email address in every county, right? So Ask a Master Gardener at kingmg.org. So it'll really elevate us and help aggregate our audiences so that people know who we are. So that's exciting for me. Gets to that, highly recognized, diverse, and fully supported. Anything else on this? A couple of chats. One of the questions was, have people coordinator has been identified to roll this out in each county. I've asked the coordinators to work with their foundations on the adoption or the grant for MS 365, and to also identify tech volunteers who are interested in working on this project as well. Right now, this is an option. It's an opportunity. We're not forcing anybody to go in this direction. But there will come a time when WSU is going to want all of our Master Gardener programming off of like Google and Dropbox and some of those other tools that we're using due to security concerns. So the coordinators have some tools, and then that PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
And client input forms being designed and chosen. So those can be done individually in each county. That's a space where you have the ability to create your own.
Okay.
All right. So I see Erin is on, but I wanted to share with you that the Evergreen Thumb podcast, which is sponsored by the Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State, and led by Erin, is always looking for faculty, staff, volunteers to interview. Right now, Erin is looking for folks that she can interview on podcasts that will air in the winter. So some of the ideas were, interviewing somebody who can speak on seasonal plants, amaryllis, poinsettia, Christmas cactus. So if you know of somebody or are interested in being interviewed on seasonal plants, or have other ideas, Erin's always interested in hearing from you. And then Seeds for Thought. It's a newsletter from the Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State with the purpose of communicating with our internal and external audiences about the Master Gardener program and the state foundation efforts. Erin has been the editor of this newsletter for many, many years. I don't even know how many years. And it's time for Erin to pass the torch. She's ready to hand that off and put more effort into Evergreen Thumb and some of the other projects that she's working on. So if you're interested in learning more about Seeds for Thought and helping out at the state level to communicate with internal and external audiences, go ahead and email Erin. And now I'm going to turn it over to Erin to let her say things that I didn't say. Erin.
Well, you covered a lot of it. I would just say, as far as guests, my goal really is to have at least one volunteer from each county program on the podcast at some point, so that all the counties are represented and all the different areas of the state are represented. So if there's a topic you're passionate about and you can talk all day about it, email me and we'll formulate an episode around that. I'm always looking for guests. And if you have suggestions of other volunteers, coordinators, faculty, anybody, or even outside of the WSU system, we're always looking for guests for the podcast. So as far as Seeds for Thought, it is all online in WordPress. And so someone who wants to take that on would need some level of technical comfort, but WordPress is actually really easy to use, and it's just like a blog post each quarter. So it would be pretty easy to learn and get familiar with that as long as you're comfortable with a computer. So if anybody has questions, email me And
Erin,
Yeah.
about how much time does it take you to do the Seeds for Thought? I mean, it comes out 4 times a year?
4 times a year. And once I finally got the WordPress kind of the kinks worked out of that, it only takes me maybe 2 or 3 hours a quarter. So
Yeah.
per issue. So
And I think, I mean, that's a big impact for, you know, I don't want to say not too much time because it's your time. And, you know, time is precious. But, you know, the communication that comes through Seeds for Thought, I think it's a big impact for, it's a good return on investment. How about that?
yeah, it really isn't as much of a time sink as it used to be.
Good.
For the impact of the communication. So
Great. Anybody have any questions for Erin? Okay. So next I want to talk a little bit about recruitment and retention. And you know, I think I want to do this for a lot of different reasons, but first I want to remind you that our program, our WSU Extension Master Gardener program, in alignment with WSU Connors, which is the College of Agricultural, Human and Natural Resource Sciences, and WSU is committed to creating an equitable and inclusive environment where all participants are valued and respected contributors. That statement comes right out of our policies. And we at WSU right now, we're all being asked to do our annual trainings on these things. So it's top of mind for me right now. All of us at WSU, including WSU Extension Master Gardener volunteers, play a crucial role in creating a positive environment where we all of us, faculty, staff, volunteers, and our participants have the privilege of, you know, being a part of, have a privilege to share our time and our talents in service to our communities. Our program values and our code of conduct are important tools in our toolbox to create that environment where we all feel valued, respected, and readily able to contribute. Wanting to recruit a diversity of people into our programs, particularly younger volunteers, is a sentiment that I often hear. I've been hearing it for a long time from volunteers across the state. I also hear that, you know, we are getting better at recruiting younger audiences into our programs, but that they don't stick around. Some of the reasons that, you know, and I ask, well, why do you think they don't stick around, the younger folks? And, you know, some of the ideas are not enough volunteer opportunities for working folks. The certified volunteers aren't willing to hear new ideas or let the younger folks lead projects, leaving the younger folks feeling devalued and unwanted. I also hear from certified volunteers who have been involved for a long time that they're feeling left behind due to, you know, increasing reliance on technologies or requirements to work in demonstration gardens, leaving the committed, you know, the most dedicated long-time volunteers also feeling devalued and unwanted. So it feels a bit like a catch-22 here, right? I mean, younger volunteers want more technology. They're pushing for technology. And some of our longtime volunteers are saying, hey, we already have too much technology. We don't want more of it. So how do we sit in that and come up with how do we make How do we ensure that both audiences or all audiences feel like they can participate and give their time and their talents? How do we make sure they're feeling everyone's feeling valued and can access our programs in equitable ways? So I know this is a super wordy slide. This information will also be in Seeds for Thought, but in all you do in our programs, I ask you to keep our program values and our code of conduct in mind. So if you're one of those certified volunteers who have been around a while in a lead position in a demonstration garden or in plant clinic or wherever you're at, and you're listening to an intern's excitement about a new idea for the demo garden or a new idea for plant clinic, be sure to keep, these program values and our code of conduct in mind. We value diversity and inclusivity. We respect each other. We want to be a dynamic program. Being a dynamic program means we are okay with change and new things and new ideas. Be patient with those conversations. Pause and really listen to what's being said. Get to know that volunteer. Be present in the conversation. How can we, not I, how can we work together, so that you can participate, so I can participate, so we can participate together in fostering their engagement in the garden or in the plant clinic in a way that allows them to use their time and talent to serve the goals of the plant clinic or the goals of the garden. And if you're the one pushing, maybe you're the new volunteer and you're the one pushing for more technology, I'm asking you to also fall back on these program values and the code of conduct. Knowledge inspires change. This is something that we really value and we believe in. We are lifelong learners as Master Gardener volunteers and people who work in academia. We truly believe that knowledge inspires change. We want to respect each other. That means respecting each other's strengths and limitations. We want to, we value collaboration. So how can you collaborate with each other, even if you're coming from different sides of the ruler, different sides of the line? How can you collaborate and figure out a way to utilize each other's strengths to achieve the goals that we're trying to achieve? So again, I'm asking, be patient, listen to understand and get to know the other person. Be present in the conversation. Meaning, think about how we can work together. We can figure this out together. It's not an I or a you, it's an us, it's a we. And then participate in fostering a solution that will benefit the program, activity, that person, and all people involved. I get this is much easier said than done, right? It's human nature for us to see things and view things through our own experiences and our own lenses. But it's important for recruitment and retention that our program is a safe place to learn new things, to fall down and to get back up, and to know that our fellow volunteers, faculties, and staff will be there to support us in that learning process. Because we work together and we value knowledge. We value research and discovery. And we're committed to ensuring all participants can access our offerings, feel included, welcomed, and valued. Like I said, this is, something that, training that we're at WSU, we're all being asked to go through. We did a training at our in-person coordinator meeting last week, on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how our behaviors, intentionally sometimes, but most of the time unintentionally impact others. That training was specifically around creating a positive, inviting, inclusive environment for all Master Gardener volunteers and how we might do that. So this is really top of mind for me right now, and I think it will really help us in our recruitment and retention efforts. And I want to thank all of you for your dedication to making sure that we do have positive cultures in our county programs and in our state program, where we are all, feeling valued and respected, and where it's a safe space for us to give our time and talents. So, any questions, thoughts? The program values and the code of conduct can be found in our program policy and procedure handbook, and also the values can be found on our website. The code of conduct can be found in the policies and procedures part of our website, statewide website. All right, switching gears to program evaluation. You've all heard this from me before. In the March and May staying mission-driven meeting, I talked about program impact and public value and a need for us to get better at program evaluation to tell that compelling and impactful story. And I feel like I really cannot stress the importance of this work enough. On Tuesday, we held I attended a department meeting. It was the Ag and Natural Resources Department meeting with faculty and staff. So like your county directors were there. So if you're like Don McMorrin was there, Jim Kropp was there. So it's all the A&R folks. So if you're from Clark County, Justin O'Day was there. If you are from, let's see, what other, there was people, like Karen Lewis and Tim Waters, if you're from Benton Franklin, he was there. So it gives you an idea of, it's the Ag and Natural Resources folks. So Tim Kohlhoff was there. But Wendy Powers, the dean of the college, was there, as was Vicki McCracken. She's the dean and extension director. So, so Dean Powers is the director of Connors. So she's the one that's responsible for all the students in the College of and faculty and staff in the College of Ag, Human, and Natural Resource Sciences. And then Vicki, who is my boss, and the one responsible for all of the work that Extension does. So that's 4-H, Master Gardeners, Forestry, SNAP Ed, and many other ag and natural, many other programs. So both Wendy and Vicki shared information about how WSU budgets have changed over the years. The entirety of WSU is feeling under-resourced, all of us. It's not just the Master Gardener program, it's not just 4-H, it's the entire university. I certainly do not envy the leaders of our university as they're making these tough decisions that they're having to make over the years, really since 2008 when the economy crashed. So the overall message was state and federal funding has remained flat for many years, which means we're in essence losing money that comes into our university due to inflation. The majority of our funding and the money we spend comes from extramural funding, meaning they're not state funding, not county funding, and not federal funding. This is like grants from corporations or, NGO corporations. WSU is and has been working on improving our state and federal budgets for many years, along with our land grant counterparts across the US who are all in similar boats in terms of the budgets. In fact, Wendy, this year, she said WSU is leading the way with our land grant counterparts and heading to DC in December ahead of the 2025 biennium planning to make sure that we are on the radar of our federal funders. So I'm telling you all this because to be competitive for extramural funding, which is the most funding that, where the most of our funding comes from, for federal funding, for state funding, WSU must be able to explain how what we do makes real and meaningful changes in the communities and with students that attend the university. We have to show our impact and our public value with data and research. So program impact on the left side of the screen is the change that individual services or organizations have. So the change that the Master Gardener program has on the people who participate in our program. So in this picture, there are kids at a Master Gardener program event learning about, looks like vermicomposting, so soils. So they're learning about something. What are they going to do with that? We don't know. And how is that going to impact their future? We don't know. But it's that's the program impact. And then when we look at public value, that describes the value that our organization contributes to society. So in this picture, you're looking at a garden with a number of people strolling through it. Those people are receiving benefit from being in that garden. They might not be gardeners. They might just be people out on a walk, and they're receiving health and wellness benefits from walking through that garden. So that's the public value. So they may not directly participate in our programs, but they're still receiving public value from the work that our program does. And I'm telling you this because understanding the difference will, help you facilitate program evaluation. Successful program evaluation using the tools that I've rolled out I'm going to share that again and share those tools here in a minute, but I want to go through a couple things first. They will give me the data to show Wendy and Vicki how we are serving the resilient Washington vision. So this is the vision of Connors. We know that we help provide a secure food system. We help maintain natural resources. We support healthy communities. And we help to develop an adaptable workforce. We know all of this. It's intuitive for us, but we have to be able to back that up with data. And that's where program evaluation comes into play. And I'm happy because we're making good progress with program evaluation. In fact, our program impact and public value statement that I prepared from information that you've all given me across the state was shared at an all-extension meeting as a good example of what WSU needs to take to Washington, D.C., to the state legislators and to our extramural funders. So that makes me feel great. We are going in a good direction. You know, but this is one statement. And so continuing on our path of improvement is going to be an important thing for us to continue working on. So when we tell our story, we must be able to talk about why we do what we do, the issue. And what you have in front of you here is the issue and the consequences. So the issue, you know, between 27% and 49%, or up to 1.5 million people in Washington, households, not people, households experience food insecurity. And that's based on research food brief that's cited here. And then it goes on to say that food insecurity disproportionately impacts traditionally marginalized audiences. And these folks are at greater risk for decreased academic success, chronic illnesses, and mental health disorders. So if we don't do something about this, if our program doesn't support this food security problem, or support the, mitigating the food security problem, these are the consequences that the state will have to manage through. It's very expensive. So this gets at, what's the issue and what's the consequences. So this isn't necessarily about gardening, but it's a bigger issue that Washington is facing. And our program plays a part in mitigating that issue. We teach people to grow food because research says people who have easy access to nutrient-dense foods are less likely to experience food insecurity. And that food insecurity leads to high healthcare costs, decreased academic success, and chronic physical and mental health conditions. So here's what we do. Our project is local food. And, we, in 2023, held 900 classes, workshops and demos. 10,000 questions were answered on growing food in our plant clinics. We have podcasts, newsletters, tip sheets, food demonstration gardens, community pea patch style gardens, partnerships with SNAP-Ed, 4-H, Veterans Affairs, immigrant and low-income communities, and correctional facilities. The classes and demos and field days that we held, the people who participated in those, they learned things, and that's our reported impact. The impact that our program has on the people who participate. So for folks who have used the survey that is in our program priority toolkit pages, we know that our participants have a 24% knowledge increase in their ability to select appropriate varieties to grow in their own home gardens. 27% knowledge increase in growing appropriate varieties, not knowledge in selecting them, but actually how to grow them. 18% knowledge increase on the connection between food access and health and wellness. And a 25% knowledge increase on how to support food security. And then we get to the public value. And again, this is the people who don't necessarily participate in our programs. The Extension Master Gardener program directly affected food, growing, and security practice among 38,300 individuals, increasing engagement among community members in growing food and donating produce to local food banks and pantries. There's more numbers here. You'll notice that some of this is in italics. That part's in italics because we don't have data to back up that statement. That data will come when we send the follow-up surveys at the end of the growing season, when we will find out if people have donated their extra food. We will find out if people were so successful growing their own vegetables that they had more than they needed and then donated them. And they donated them because they understand and learned from us that having good, easy access to food improves food security. So that's the public value, because if we can show with data that our program mitigates food insecurity, that's a direct connection to health and wellness benefits and saving Washington health money on healthcare. So I'm thrilled with the work we've done here. We have a number of responses to local food, and we're slowly increasing the responses to the other program evaluation on the program priorities that I've asked for. So this year's call to action was to evaluate at least one local food event and choose to evaluate at least one other from plant biodiversity, climate change, or water conservation. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to go out and show you the program priority toolkits. But if you go to our website, the statewide website, mastergardener.wsu.edu, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see a link to for program volunteers. Click into that and you'll see there's a lot of headers there, and you can go to the program priority toolkits and you'll find everything you need in those. And your program coordinators also know about this and can help you get to where you need to be to do your program evaluation. So we've been talking about this for a number of months. I hope that you're seeing program evaluation as an important aspect of a successful WSU Extension Master Gardener program and something that you can do. We have to be able to describe with data and proof that the value we provide to the communities we serve and to the general population, or we stand to lose voice, we stand to lose funding and programs. We have to be able to tell that compelling, impactful story. In addition to that, program evaluation yields data that we can use to drive the decisions we make about the educational offerings. An ability to tell a compelling and impactful story with data will open up new opportunities and partnerships, will increase funding. I'm asking you to sync up with your program coordinator on this and talk about what you need, what will be helpful for you to make your program successful in the program evaluation efforts. Looks like there's a couple of chats here. All right. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. All right. So next I want to turn it over to Kathy Lamoureux to give Tana Hassert's on vacation. So Vice President Kathy Lamoureux is here to talk about the work of the State Foundation and the efforts that they've been putting into their articles of incorporation, bylaws, and policies and procedures. Kathy, are you here?
I'm here.
Great. This is the last slide, so we're good to go.
Good. And I'll talk fast. Jennifer just wanted me to bring you up to date as to what the State Foundation has been spending a fair amount of time on this year and the reason why we're doing it. And as vice president of a nonprofit board, most of you probably have seen in your policy and procedures that the vice president usually is the person who leads this kind of effort, and that is true for the State Foundation. So that's my job. Fortunately, I kind of like this kind of stuff, so we're good. The team that has joined me from the officers and members of the board, we have put in about 30 hours already of work and this year on this, and we're not done. But what we are doing is we're looking at revisions to the bylaws and policy and procedures, and we have rewritten all the job descriptions, the position descriptions. So not only the officers, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and past president, we've also written for our committee leads. We have cleaned up and made a lot more consistent the descriptions of those positions. The other thing that we have done is that the state of Washington from time to time revises their requirements for how different official documents for a nonprofit organization need to read. And that's one of the things that we all need to be aware of that are involved with nonprofit organizations, is that from time to time, there is the need to bring your documentation up to date. So that's what we're doing. The bylaws, the Articles of Incorporation is the legal document that created our 501c3. And we just need to make sure that our bylaws match what is said in the Articles of Incorporation, that we haven't kind of gone off on a tangent. And all of this is coming, will be coming to the State Foundation Board very soon in September, so that they've sort of been following along with us as we've given progress reports like I'm doing today. But the written documentation will start to show up in September. And the reason why we're sharing this today is to just remind everybody that the State Foundation functions as a repository of information for the county foundation. So if there was any question in how to word something, or whether or not your documents are following the current RCW regulations and also the Washington State Nonprofit Handbook, you could go in onto our website, because once these are approved, they will go onto the website. And right now, if you go on the website, you're seeing our current versions, not the revised versions. And you could check. You could see how something was written. And we've actually done the same. We've gone out to some of the counties and asked them, how did you phrase this? How did you address this issue? Just to get some ideas. So it's just one of the services that your state foundation provides, and we're happy to coordinate with any county that is entertaining the idea of doing the same thing. That's it.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm pleased that the State Foundation is walking through this effort. I think once completed, these documents will be fantastic resources for county foundations to learn from and emulate. Appreciate it. Any
You're welcome.
questions for Kathy?
It's everybody's favorite topic.
I like that work too, Kathy. It's yeah. All right. So our next meeting is August 22nd. Any good of the group discussion? I'm happy to stay on for a few minutes if anybody's interested. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Any comments, questions?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right.
Good
Enjoy,
meeting. Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.